My child, I watched you pass the hardest test. You did not know it was a test. That is what made it so holy. You went through days that felt endless. Nights that pressed down on you so heavily you could barely lift your head. There were times when it was so quiet that you wondered if I had stopped listening. You kept going anyway. You didn't need to. But you didn't. You could have shut down your heart, turned away from me, and said that your faith had failed you. I saw every part of that choice. I saw how much it cost you to stay. I need you to fully understand something. The silence you walked through wasn't a sign of being left alone. In no way was it punishment. It wasn't proof that I forgot your name. It showed that I believed in you. A refiner doesn't stand across the room when he puts gold into the fire. He leans in close and watches carefully, waiting for the exact moment when the dirt will rise to the surface. That was what I did. I wasn't too far away from you in that fire. I was right there and watched, taking care of the flame to make sure it did its job perfectly, without eating away at any part of who you are. You thought I wasn't talking. I didn't stay quiet. Everything that was closed and prayed for was being worked on by heaven. You had to choose faith all over again every morning. What you couldn't see was what I was setting up. I was putting people and events in place with such accuracy that you couldn't have planned it better yourself. Everything was done for you because of you. Your name is still important in heaven, just like it was always. There were times when you almost gave up. I know all of them. I remember the exact night you stayed up late and whispered, "Maybe this is not meant for me." Sometimes in the morning, hope felt like it belonged to someone else. Someone whose life was easier and whose prayers seemed to work faster. As you looked around, you saw other people moving forward, with doors opening and prayers being answered for them. But you were still. In that silence, you asked me why. Do you believe what I'm saying about your life today? Everything I have covered across this channel is now in one place. The prayers, the teachings, the daily blessings, it is all inside the Daily Miracle Manual. Link in the description. Please know that every seed you plant in this mission grows into a torch that shines in someone else's darkness. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community, does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. But more than your support, we want your presence. When you head to our community through the link in the description or the pinned comment, you aren't just visiting a site, you are entering a community of like-minded believers. This is a sanctuary where you can post your prayer requests, lift up the burdens of others, and engage in daily discussions with a family that speaks the language of faith. Whether you are joining one of our membership tiers for deeper study, sowing a seed of faith, or simply joining our daily morning prayers, you are helping us build a global altar of worship. Heaven moves through willing voices, but it grows through a community that stands together. Each gift you give acts as living water for those in our community seeking healing and hope. Give, and it will be given to you, is the promise that sustains our shared mission. I invite you now to step out of the shadows and into this circle of prayer. Come with purpose, join the conversation, and plant your seed in fertile ground. Let's open the heavens together. Release your seed today, join our community, and see what God brings back into your life. If so, say amen. I heard every reason. I didn't always answer with an explanation, because a tired heart doesn't always need them. Sometimes all a tired heart needs is to know that I am still here, that I remember your name, and that I have not left you behind. I said in a whisper, "Hold on." I told you in your spirit, even though you couldn't hear me. That thread of hope didn't break, even on the nights you were sure it was gone. That was my child me. It was my steady, quiet hand that held you together when you thought you were going to fall apart. Everything was fine with you. You were being made. From inside the process, it's hard to see the difference. There is a difference, though. I've seen in you since the beginning. I knew what kind of faith you would grow. I knew the kind of strength that can only be gained by being pushed. I was sure you could handle it. There was no need to be the biggest, because your heart was ready. I have always looked for someone who is willing. Not excellence, not success, not being able to do everything right. Lord, I don't understand, but I am still here, says the heart. You gave it to me. You gave me that over and over again. You chose to trust every day when you woke up. You closed your eyes every night and told yourself, you know what tomorrow holds, but I don't. Every prayer you said, even the ones that were broken or sounded more like groans than words, got to me. They didn't all get blown away by the wind. They came up to my throne, and I have answered all of them in a way that will take your breath away. As you walked, my beloved, heaven watched. During that long time, the angels who now carry your breakthrough watched over you. They saw you be kind, even though it would have been easier to be mean. They saw you forgive people who never asked you to. They watched as you loved, even though it cost you more than you could afford. And there was no peace in heaven at that time. Every time you stood back up, my courts were full of happiness. Every time you wiped your face and kept going, you picked me over ease, over pride, and over the path that was less important. Everyone saw how hard it was for you. Heaven saw how you prayed. I want you to remember that those two things are not the same. Heaven called what the world called losing moving forward. In heaven, what people call silence is called getting ready. Your work wasn't getting behind. You were becoming something that had never been seen before. A version of yourself that has been honed by fire and shaped by trust, ready for the season that is now coming. You did well, my child. We're done with the test. The fire is out for good now. After all that fire, there is something pure, strong, and ready. You, all of you, are now closer than ever to my promise. These words need to be taken not only as comfort, but also as proof. This message that you are getting now is not a coincidence. Before this moment, it was already going to happen. This meeting was planned by heaven itself. All of my plans have been building up to the hour you are now getting into. You didn't just happen to be here. You were drawn here by my spirit because you deserve what's coming next. You no longer have to wait. Keep going because the reward for your loyalty is coming. I am the God who always does what he says. I need to talk to you about the silence because I know it hurt. You could feel it. And I don't want you to keep being hurt by it. There were times when you cried out to me, but I didn't hear you. You didn't feel any comfort. There was no clarity. The door did not open. There was only vast, heavy stillness, and you stood in the middle of it, wondering if you had done something wrong. They were not sure if I was upset with you, or if you had gotten away from me. Please pay close attention to what I say. I could always get to you. Not even for a breath, not even for a second. It doesn't matter if you can feel my reach. The silence did not show that I was not there. It proved that I could trust them. There is silence in the room when a teacher gives a test, because the test is meant to find out what the student already knows. The teacher doesn't sit next to them and whisper answers. My quiet wasn't a way for me to pull away. It was a sure thing. I didn't say anything because I knew what was going on inside you. It was where I put it. I was just waiting for it to come out. And it did come out in ways that make me feel sad every time I think about them. You chose to trust me in the morning, even though it seemed silly to do so. You chose to pray at night, when it felt like you were shouting into the void. You didn't let your faith break, even when it was almost too thin to hold. My child, that thread never broke. Not once. And it wasn't your hold that kept it together. It was mine. Talk. If these words are speaking to you right now, I see that you looked at the wild. As you walked through, all you saw was loss. Things you loved were taken away. Lost people who were important to you. The plans you made didn't work out. You had put off dreams for so long that they started to fade. It looked like making less. You felt like someone was taking something away from you. I wasn't taking, though. I was making room. Those two things are not the same. And I want you to fully understand it. When someone loves their vine, they don't let it grow in any direction it wants. He cuts it down slowly and carefully, not because he is mean, but because he cares. Taking away what is weakening the vine without making fruit is what he does. He cuts away what is tangled and going in the wrong direction, so what's left can grow taller, go deeper, and produce more than the vine that wasn't pruned. In your wilderness season, that's what I did. I let everyone leave your life, every plan fall through, and every comfort ripen. I took it off. It was a form of pruning, not punishment. Cut back. Some of the people I let go of you were never meant to be on your whole journey with you. For a season they were chosen. I ended the chapter when that season ended. Not because they were your enemies, but because you need a different kind of friend with you, where I'm taking you. Some of the plans that didn't work out would have locked you in a place. I told you to leave. When some opportunities went away, it looked like they were turned down, but they were actually redirected. I wasn't making your life less open. In the middle of nowhere, I was straightening out the path. I was also doing something that a lot of people couldn't do. You learned how to hear my voice. The whisper, the still small sound, the quiet voice that has more power than any storm. Not the loud voice that thunders over miracles and answered prayers. You wouldn't have learned to hear it if I kept making noise in your life. Taking things away was also a tuning. Your spirit was getting in tune with my frequency. You can hear me better now than ever before. The complete guide, every daily prayer, every spiritual tool, everything I've put together to help you grow your faith is down in the description. It's called the Daily Miracle Manual. Now stay right here with me, because as this awakening grows inside you, know that helping with this mission is not a joke. It is a sign from God. You can support this work through the link in the description or the pinned comment, whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community. By doing so, you become part of Jesus' plan to save souls who are still stuck in fog. Every seed turns into light that fights against darkness. If you water others, you will be watered yourself, Jesus says. This is not history. It is a living promise about your future. Come into this moment with faith and a plan. What God has already planned for your life can be unlocked through your giving. Hello, my dear. The wilderness you lived through was a school. There was a lesson in every valley you went through. When you couldn't see, you learned to walk by trust. Without the promise of coming back, you learned how to love. You learned to forgive not because the wounds stopped hurting, but because you chose to let go of your anger instead. You learned that peace doesn't come from things going well. It's from me. And no amount of money can teach that lesson, that deep and lasting lesson. Some things can only be learned in silence, where there is nothing left but me. It was all used up. Every day, every tear, every night of not being able to sleep, and every prayer that seemed to hit the ceiling and fall back down. I was hearing everything. I was writing down every act of faith. I kept track of every time you picked me, even though it would have been so much easier to pick something else. The wilderness season is not a break in your story. That chapter is one of the most important ones because it shows what kind of person you are. And heaven places a lot of value on what you are made of. It's no longer time to strip. New growth is already starting to appear where old growth was cut back. It's time to leave the wilderness and go to the right place. You're no longer in the classroom, but you still remember everything you learned. You're not going forward without anything. As you move forward, you do so with a faith that has been tried and held. Strong because they worked for their strength instead of borrowing it. It is peaceful and stays that way even when everything else is shaking. My child, I'm proud of you. Not in the way that word is used in everyday speech, but in the way a dad looks at his son after he's been through a lot and come out on the other side. Still there, still believing, and still mine. That's what I see now when I look at you. Someone who got through the worst and didn't lose what was most important to them. Your faith is still strong. Your love is still alive. You have an open heart. So now everything that is sent to you has a place to land. I saw times when being obedient meant giving up everything, not the simple act of obeying. If the path is clear and the road is smooth, anyone can follow me. The other kind is what I mean. The duty that came with tears. You had to give up something valuable, leave something familiar, and trust me with your hands in order to obey. Open when your gut told you to hold on. It's not often that people obey in that way, and heaven moves when they do. I asked you to give up some of the things you loved the most. You did what they said, even though you didn't know why. With shaking hands and a broken heart, you let go of it. And you replied, Lord, I do not see what you are doing, but I trust you. Giving up wasn't a sign of weakness. It was a war. It shook the unseen world because obedience that came from love, not duty or fear, but a real choice to trust me more than anything else. In the end, that kind of obedience will matter. I saw you forgive people who had hurt you badly, people who never said sorry, and people who might never know what they did to you. Still, you chose to let them go. It wasn't easy for you to do it. You did it because you picked me over being angry. It was holy for you to forgive, my child. That wound was meant to get worse by the enemy. He meant for the hurt to stay in your heart and turn into something that would hurt you in the future. But you turned him down. You let go of your hand and opened it up. At that moment, the chains of your fate fell off. That were there, but you couldn't see them. My child, I want you to give some of what you have, something real, to the altar of this work, like putting gold on the scales of this calling. It can be a seed sown into deep water or an offering set on stone. Don't be afraid to do it. This shows that you trust me to provide and that your heart no longer longs for lack. When you let go with faith, it stays in your life. It moves ahead of you into the harvest I'm getting ready for. I saw you leave arguments that you could have won. I saw you keep quiet when you could have spoken out in public to defend yourself. I saw you choose the humble path, even though at the time it would have felt so much better to be proud. Your choices were not praised by the world, but they were praised by heaven. You looked like me every time you picked peace over pride. When you chose to bless instead of fight back, you brought a part of my personality into the world that needs it very much. People who hired you never thanked you. You helped people who were in need, even when you were in need yourself. People who had hurt you were prayed for, and your prayer was real, not fake. You didn't do those things to make me love you. You did those things because my love was already working in you and flowing through you, touching lives in ways you might not have known. That's what someone looks like when my spirit lives in them. Not perfection or not having to work hard, but love that sticks with something even when it could rest. My child, I have written down every act of obedience you did alone. Not a single one of them was missed. You thought those parts of the story were small, unnoticeable, and not important to the bigger picture. However, those moments that were kept secret were the building blocks of what is now being built in public. What was true in private is about to be seen as true in public. What was given up in secret is about to come back stronger. Now the seeds you planted with quiet trust are starting to come up. And what they bring in is more than what you planted. I know there were times when you did what I said, but it still hurt. There were times when you did what I said and still lost something important. Lord, I did what you told me to do, but it still went wrong. You said that cry was heard. I sat in it with you. I didn't brush it off with a quick answer. Now I want to tell you what was going on at that time. When I make obedience feel like it costs a lot, it's because I'm testing not your strength, but your willingness to give up. I want to know if you will trust me, even if you can't find me. Will you follow even if you don't understand what will happen? And you always said yes. You're stronger now because of that yes. That yes has shown that your faith isn't dependent on good things happening. It comes from being who I am. That kind of obedience is praised in heaven. Not the obedience of a servant doing a job, but the obedience of a child who has full faith in their parent. That is what you gave me, my love. Now that you've shown me how much you trust me, I can safely bring what I've been working on into your life. The promise has not been put off any longer. The blessing that came about because you obeyed is now on its way. What your loyalty bought in the spiritual world is about to show up in your life. Stay put, don't close your heart. Now more than ever, the reward is close by. If you were faithful, heaven didn't look at how much you accomplished, but at how fully you gave up. It's all on the record. In the places that hurt the most, you gave up. You put your faith in seasons that didn't make sense. You loved even when it meant giving up things. Now the amount of that loyalty is being given back to you. Pushed down, shook together, and over. The idea has always been right. What you give me doesn't go away when I hold it. It gets bigger. Also, the time for the bigger return has come. You felt the breaking, so I need to talk to you about it. I have never led anyone to believe otherwise. There were times in your life when it seemed like everything was breaking apart at once. The ground that your plans were built on gave way under you. You could not count on some people to be there for you when you needed them the most. The future you had imagined fell apart right in front of your eyes, leaving you to stand in the ruins of what you thought your life would be like. You asked me the hardest question a heart can ask at that time. Why did you let this happen? Now is the time for me to answer. There was nothing wrong with religion or distance. What was wrong was what I saw when I let those things break. Some things broke because they were built on ground that wasn't strong enough to hold the weight of what I have chosen for you to carry. Your future wasn't in danger because of me. I was getting the site clean. The builder, who is putting in a permanent foundation, doesn't work around the old buildings that aren't stable. He takes them off. There is more dirt under his feet than ever before. That breaking sound you heard was the sound of the digging. You didn't know how deep I was going. Getting your life ready for what's to come so that it can handle the weight of it without breaking. Yes, Lord. You say, if your heart is ready to receive what heaven is releasing today, my child, you didn't break, you broke open. There's a difference. What breaks just doesn't work. What breaks open lets go. If a seed's shell is still there, it won't grow. Before the living thing inside the shell can push up toward the light, it has to give way, split, and yield. That's what happened during your worst times. Things on the outside gave way, so that what I had put inside you, the real you, could come out. You, with your set goals, could finally break through into the open. I saw you in those times when everything went wrong. I saw you get down on your knees. I heard you whisper, "God, I cannot take any more." And right when I gave up everything, something changed. Giving up is not the same as losing. When you surrender, you let go of things that force can't handle. My hands were fully under you as soon as you stopped trying to hold together what I had already let fall. You didn't just fall apart. You hit me. And the falling was the start of the change. You are not damaged by the cracks that the breaking made. They are the holes that my light can now shine through. When a vessel has never been broken, it's usually too tight to let anything in or out. Your brokenness turned into nothingness. The state of having a heart that is open enough to receive and pour out without any limits. I am designing with what you thought was damage. My grace flows through you most freely now in the very places where you were broken. I also want to tell you something that the breaking did for you, that no happy season could have. It made people care. Real kindness, the type that is not just talked about but also done. You now know what it's like to be in pain and not know what to do. You know what it means to hope when it's hard to hope. You know what it's like to hold on even though you want to let go. Because you really understand these things. Now you can sit with other people who are going through the same thing and give them something that learning can't do. You can be there for them and show that you understand. One of the best things about being human is having that gift, and it was broken that put it in your hands. Hello, my dear. The fire you went through wasn't meant to hurt you. It was okay with me because I had a plan for your future that needed gold, and heat is the only way to make gold. Before you did, I knew what was inside you. I knew how strong your faith was before it was put to the test. The tests did not make you more religious. It told you about it, to the unseen world, and to everyone watching. There was always faith. It was only brought to the surface by the fire, so that everyone could see what I already knew. What looked like your ending was actually the start of my story. Plans were being made for what looked like a loss. What looked like a mess was actually building. It was hard times, so I built in the noise, mess, and confusion of those times. I was putting together something in you that needed those conditions. Not because I'm mean, but because I do things right. I don't do part-time work. I don't start in the middle. You now have what I have been building in you through every broken season, to be ready for what is coming. What you are now is not the same as when you went into the fire. You're stronger. You know more now. You are both softer and stronger at the same time. You're all set. This is what I want you to know. During those times, I never lost a single piece of you. There was no loss of any part of who you are. At times, you felt like you weren't able to put yourself together again, because the person you used to be had been broken so badly. But I was getting everything together. With great care, I held them like you would hold something priceless. That's not all I did. I was also holding. I was fixing things. Small steps, slowly, and with a lot of care. I was putting you back together. Not the way you were before, but the way you were always meant to be. The version of you that comes out of this season is not less than the last. For sure, it's the truth. This is the one I made for you before you were born. Now that you know that, let it sink in deeply. You're not hurt, you are changed. And the person who made you again doesn't make mistakes. Let me tell you about what's coming up now. Not as a far-off dream, but as a present fact that is already happening. You said prayers over your life that you stopped saying out loud over time. There wasn't a loss of faith, But the time between the prayer and the answer got so long that saying the prayer again started to hurt. That's why you kept it inside quietly, where hope lives when it's too painful to show. That place is familiar to me. It's what I spoke into even when you couldn't hear me. And this is what I've been talking about. I did not forget. The promise is still alive, and the time for it to come true has come. The sky over your life has changed in some way. The time of year you've been in is changing. Things that were still are starting to move. Things that were sealed are starting to come loose. What was held back is now being let go of. I'm the God who decides when things happen, and I'm telling this one to turn. Your endurance was put to the test by the long winter. Below the surface, the ground that looked cold and bare is getting warmer. Life is coming back, but you can't see it yet with your own eyes. Things are starting to move. Your big breakthrough is not some far-off dream. It's almost there. It is moving toward you right now. It's going through the hearts and hands of people I've already put in place. Someone is being moved to think of you right now as you read these words. Someone is being told to reach out, open a door, or say your name in a place where it needs to be said. The thought of you may have been so strong for them, but they don't fully understand why. I am the one moving them. I set this up, people, events, and situations that didn't seem to have anything to do with your prayer have been used by me to bring you the answer in a way that makes it clear who planned it. Please say if you think this word fits into your life right now. If you want the full guide with every prayer and lesson I've compiled for this community, check the description for the Daily Miracle Manual. You are about to enter your divine future, but remember, this breakthrough is not for you alone. Your testimony is the bridge someone else will use to reach their own miracle. Archangel Michael is inviting you to visit community through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community, does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. By joining our like-minded community, you are no longer praying in isolation. You are adding your voice to a global sanctuary where we discuss the word daily and stand in the gap for one another. This is not poetry when Jesus says, "Give, and heaven will open over you." On this platform, every seed you plant turns into oil for your destiny, fire for your calling, and a hedge of safety for your family. Now is your time. Step into our community prayer wall, share your heart, and as you give, watch God multiply what you let go of. Let's finish this journey together. Visit Out Community now, join the family, and see your heavens open. What a big surprise I'm letting out over you. When faith is strong and the wait is long, I don't do small things. What you are about to get will be just right for what you have been through. It will be as deep as the sacrifice. It will hold the weight of the prayers you said during every hard time. I don't give a weak answer to long, lasting, costly faith. What's coming is just the right size for you right now. Not where you were before you started praying, but where I have brought you after everything that happened. It could come to you as a message that changes your mind about something you had given up on. You might get it through a conversation you didn't know was planned. It might look like an open door in a place that you used to think was always locked. It could be peace that comes over you out of the blue and stays there for a long time, that you know something has changed. After being in the air for a long time, something has finally come down. You will recognize it no matter what form it takes. Not because it will make a big noise, but because your heart will feel better when it gets there. What is now a nervous wait will soon turn into a deep, quiet knowing. That's how I sign my name. You'll know it was from me because of that peace, I know how fragile hope can become after a long time of waiting, my love. I understand how the heart builds walls to protect itself. So it doesn't get hurt again, it learns not to expect much. And I want to talk about that protection in a clear but gentle way. Take down the walls, my child, open up your heart again. Not naive or lack of knowledge, but willing to listen to me, ready to receive what I bring. What an open heart can hold, a closed heart can't take in. You have been very careful to protect the place where I'm trying to get there with the things I've planned. Something was fed by the tears you shed behind closed doors. That is the idea behind sowing and reaping. It's not just for ground and seed either. It works for faith and keeping promises, for prayer and getting things done. When you were alone, you cried every tear because of these wants, needs, and hopes that wouldn't go away. Those tears were like seeds. They disappeared into the ground where you were waiting and seemed to have been lost. I don't let holy tears fall away, though. I get them together, I put them in. Because of them, something bigger grows than anything the human eye could have thought of in the dark. What you prayed for behind closed doors is now coming true. What you held on to in faith during all the quiet times is now coming to the surface. The answer isn't necessarily coming from where you thought it would. I rarely come from where people expect me to, because my ways are different from yours, and my paths are higher than any road you would have made yourself. But it's on the way, and when it does, you'll see for sure that I was the only one who could have planned this. How well it fits the need, how precisely it works, and when it works. A clear mark of my hand will be on it. Take a deep breath, my child. The breakthrough has begun. It looks like heaven is moving for you. It's now release time. Things I start moving don't stop. It shows up. I want you to pay attention to how your spirit is moving right now. That quiet sense of being alive that is rising in you as you read these words. You're not excited like that. That's my spirit being sure of what I'm saying. When your spirit hears the truth, it knows it. And right now your spirit says yes to this word. While you wait and ask questions, you know deep down that this is real and that I am real. That I have been honest with you every day during the long season you have been through. Now the season changes. Now the blessing comes. Right now you'll understand why the wait was so worth it. Please allow me to describe this new part. Not in general spiritual terms, but in terms that I can understand right now. Where there was loss, there will be something new. Not something less than what was lost. Not a weak replacement that you have to force yourself to be thankful for. Real restoration that is full to the brim. My name is God, and I fix things. I don't patch. I don't switch to something less expensive. People are interested in what I bring back. What I give back comes with more. You still have the years that felt like they were taken away from you. They are being saved. Even better, the redemption will be clear in ways that will make people around you wonder what happened. Doors that were shut are now being opened. Not the doors you slammed into with all your strength, but the right ones. The ones that were meant to be opened. The ones that lead not only to relief, but also to a purpose. You didn't always get turned down when a door shut behind you. Some of them were for safety. Some of those closed doors held something that would have drained your energy, taken your attention away, or tied you to a season I was trying to get you out of. From where you were standing, you couldn't see it, but the door that wouldn't open was useful. You will see it now, though. You'll understand when you look back at the closed doors on the right as they swing open wide. I see why, is what you'll say. You'll be thankful. Where there was doubt about the way forward, now there is clarity. The fog that made it hard to know what to do is getting thinner. You don't have to be able to see the whole road from where you are. Never do I show the whole journey at once, because that would be too much to handle instead of helpful. I show you what to do next. Getting seen is the next step. When you see it, take it. Do not wait for the next step to show up before you move. As I light the one step, trust it and take it. The next one will show up when you need it, not before. Because I don't waste revelation on steps you aren't close to yet. People who have been hurt in relationships and lost touch are starting to heal. I'm softening hearts that have grown hard from pain. I'm reopening lines of communication that were shut down during times of miscommunication. Some of the people I'm calling back into your life are ones you had quietly missed. Some of the things that are being fixed this season are threads that looked like they were so frayed that they couldn't be rewoven. But I weave, and the things I make can't be taken apart. I can't promise that every relationship will come back. Some didn't have to happen, but the ones that will are meant to be in your future. Those I'm taking care of. Those I'm moving toward fixing up. I am moving to places where there has been a lack of provision and uncertainty. I have not been oblivious to how heavy that is. I haven't ignored the nights you stayed up worrying about money and praying for a breakthrough that always seemed just out of reach. I'm not a God who doesn't care about what's useful. I care about you in more ways than one. I care about the material things in your life because you have a body that needs to be fed, housed, and kept alive. The provision I'm letting go of wasn't added on the spot. It's already been made. It's tied to the same schedule as everything else I've been setting up. Also, it's coming through doors you didn't open yourself. Because what I give you doesn't depend on how much money you have. You are feeling peaceful now, my child. The quiet calm that is taking the place of the low hum of anxiety you've been carrying is itself a sign. I give peace as a warning ahead of time, as a first fruit, as an early look. It's because the answer is close when my peace comes before it does. You can rest now. The peace says, you no longer have to hold this with clenched teeth. I have it. It's always been there. I'm going to bring it to you. You don't have to hold on to the fear that has been with you during this waiting period. You don't have to protect yourself against another disappointment any longer. Not because everything is fixed, but because the person who does fix things is already at work. My track record with your life has been faithfulness, even when you couldn't see it. From beginning to end, I have been true to you since the day I breathed life into you. I'm not going to stop now. You didn't earn this time by being good or faithful enough. It was set aside for you. I picked a time that takes into account everything I know about you, your situation, and the road ahead. I picked this time. This season was planned by me. There I am, right in the middle of it with you. I'm not just watching, but not far, so close you could reach out and touch me. Close enough for me to hear your whisper without having to try. The new part of the story has already begun. The page has turned. You are now in a different part of the test. You're now in the reward chapter. And what you will get is not the best part of that chapter. The best thing about it is that it will make you who you are. Someone who really knows me knows that I'm faithful. Someone who has known both the blessing and the God who gives blessings. What you know is priceless, and you will always have it. I'd like to talk to you about who you are now, not the person you were before the hard times. What you are now that you're through it. What you went through doesn't make you less important. You have grown. You didn't get smaller because of the pain. It made you work hard. Also, it hurt to stretch. Now, though, you have more power than ever before. Now that you know how much love costs and still choose to give it, you can carry more of it. You have more peace now because you have been through times when it wasn't easy to find it and learned how to look deeper. You can show more grace because you know what it's like to really need it. Everything hard turned into something bigger. Inside, you're bigger than you were before all of this. I want you to stop comparing yourself to the person you were before your house caught fire. That person wasn't more whole. That person hadn't been refined yet. There is something about refined gold that isn't there in unrefined gold. The value doesn't come from how raw it is. This is what makes it pure, the process. Right now you are pure. It's not moral perfection, but a clear spirit, an ease and a knowledge of what really matters and what doesn't. A kind of wisdom that you can only get by living, that has made you who you are now. I have faith in what's to come. Your name is something I've always known. I've always seen your face. However, there is something unique about this moment. This change from one chapter to the next is something I want you to hear me say with more warmth than you may have ever let yourself feel. You are my child, not because of what you've done or how well you've done it. I picked you to be mine. And there was nothing that happened while they were waiting. Not when you had doubts, questions, or times when you couldn't feel me close. That didn't change in any way. You will always and completely belong to me. That sense of belonging is what holds everything else together. As you start this new chapter, I want you to keep your hands open. Don't hold on to what happened before or prepare for what might happen next. When your hands are open, you can receive things that closed hands can't. There is flow in what I bring. It shows up. It settles down best in a heart that no longer needs to protect itself and is full of trust. That's where you are now. That's the way you're standing because you had to wait so long. And that's exactly the position you need to be in to receive what heaven is giving you. I also want to talk to you about the people you love and hold close to your heart. The people you bring to mind when you need peace. The things I'm doing in your life aren't just for you. What I let go of in your life will flow outward. People you pray for will feel the same wave of my faithfulness that is running through your life right now. You won't get the breakthrough just because I want to, but I would send it to you anyway. I'm still moved by your story because there are people who need to see it. They will always be loyal to me. Even when things are hard, your story already speaks for itself. When people hear what I did for you this season, it will make their own faith stronger. Hearing your story will make some people think twice before giving up, because they know the person who helped you will help them too. There are more things that your endurance has made possible than you can count right now. But I see everything. I also want to tell you that what your faithfulness has already done in the unseen realm is very powerful. You are loved one, and I send you into this new season with everything you need, not just with food and shelter, or with chances to learn, though those will come too. You are getting me, which is the only thing that makes everything else possible. I will be with you during the harvest, just like I was during the planting. I was with you when the doors were closed, and I will be with you when they open. My presence doesn't change based on what's going on with you. It stays the same. It should be your base. Use me as the base for your building, and nothing that goes up from here can be taken down. You should know what I've been telling you every day, even when things are hard. Even though you couldn't hear it, I love you, not the thought of you. You just the way you are. With every scar the journey gave you, every question you still have, and every hope that is still weak and far away. I love you with a love that has never wavered, even in the middle of nowhere. A love that went through it with you and is now coming out with you. That's not going to change. Now is the time. The time that was agreed upon has come. Right now, everything I promised you is coming true. Keep an eye out for it. Don't close your heart. And when it comes, be thankful that the God who brought you through the fire also had a plan for how you would get out. That plan is now coming together. You did well on the test. Heaven saw everything that happened. When you chose to trust in the middle of your pain, your guardian angels are now carrying what your trust bought. It's not being held back. They're taking care of it. The same heaven that saw your tears is now giving you your reward. The reward is based on how much the thing you carried cost. There is nothing small about what is coming. It's not an accident in any way. I'm the only one who can measure, prepare, and time it with such accuracy, and it's yours. Now, heaven moves for you. You've finished the long road and now you're in the open country. I declare that I receive this. If your heart is open and ready for what God has in store for you today, please help us by viewing our videos. Scan the QR code or look at the pinned comment to see content that is only available to members. Have a great day. Before we get to the end of this powerful story, let's reflect on this deep truth. You did not find this message by accident. This is a divine appointment meant specifically for you. You are being invited into a protected, faith-filled community at the link in the description and pinned comment, a place where divine abundance is not just a hope, but a promise built on the Word. By heading to the site right now, you are unlocking access to a sacred community of like-minded believers. When you join our membership tiers, you gain immediate entry to powerful content, daily devotions, and divine insights that are hidden from the world. This is your chance to enter a sanctuary where you will receive spiritual guidance, unwavering support on our prayer wall, and speedy progress toward your destiny. Do not let this moment of destiny pass you by. Your breakthrough is waiting. Join our inner circle through the exclusive link in the description. This is how you guarantee you never miss the personalized messages and spiritual warfare tools meant to elevate your life. If you feel called to deepen your connection, the link is waiting for you in both the pinned comment and the description. For those who want to amplify this work and carry the light home, you can find our guided ebooks and Bibles in the pinned comment. Whether you join as a member or sow a seed through our resources, your presence and energy change the world. Take the step. Your abundance awaits.